So, Delane, you wanted to start with So What?
I'm going to start with So What.
Yeah. What is So What? Just in case
So
somebody in the
What
future.
is a ladies group, and it does service things. Like we give scholarships to local high school kids,
Mm-hmm.
and we do little things for Cypress Inn, which
That's a senior citizen place or nursing
yes,
home? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
mostly that
Yeah.
kind of people who need help.
Yeah.
And it's more than assisted living, it's more help than that.
Yeah.
Down at Douglas,
Okay.
like we do little thingies for Valentine's.
Yeah.
Most all the people are diabetic, and so the candy has to be sugar-free,
Free. Yeah.
which is worse for them than the sugar, but anyhow.
Yeah. That's another story.
Anyhow, and I take magazines,
Yeah.
and I have a pen pal down there,
Yeah.
and that's a fun thing.
I'll just add too. So What does forums, right?
Yes.
They sponsor speakers on topics because I've been. So that's another important thing
Yes.
to do. Yeah.
And so those there are and we give money to Portal Rescue.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So you wanted to talk about the history of it? and
I
how
want
that-
to talk about when I came into it and
Okay. Great.
how it was.
Yeah.
Okay, when I first came, it was an extension service club.
Oh, I didn't
And
know that.
those were started in 1914, I believe. And land grant colleges
Yeah.
had this extension service for rural women, supposed to educate them a little more,
Yeah.
like home things.
Yeah.
Well, they already knew the home things, but
Yeah.
the ladies liked to go. It gave them a club away from the kids.
Yeah.
And my mother used to go in Texas.
Huh.
Well, this one, the year I was president of So What, I went to all of these meetings here, there, somewhere else, and it had nothing to do with what we wanted to do. And so I said, this doesn't fit us. We can do our own club better, and I'm getting us out of this. And so I did.
Huh.
And I went and got us out so that we were no longer extension.
Was that after like 1980, or do you remember?
I
when?
believe it was 84. I thought I read in here it was 84, maybe.
Yeah, just a general idea. So okay. So
And so, so we were out. But I was interested in how did this thing start? So I tried to go back and learn what I could about the beginning. And it was very meager. The people who would have known had already died. And I talked to their daughters, Sally Richards and Audrey Miller.
yeah.
Well, their mothers were big clubbers, but as you might know, the daughters said, we've had that, we're not going to be clubbers. So they didn't really know much about it, but they told me what they knew.
Yeah.
We had some old minutes that we went back and looked into.
Yeah.
And I took everything that I could learn, and I wrote it up. And Jeannie Williams, who was working with the Douglas Historical Society, said, oh, we need to put that in one of the quarterlies. So she did,
Huh.
and therefore we've got it in perpetuity.
Yeah, for future.
We
yeah.
know. When I went back to find out about So What, I knew that Sally Richards' mother, Lily Darnell, had been a big part of the club. And a little card came here, somebody had written, and it said, Lily Darnell organizes So What Club about 1945.
Wow.
That was probably a reorganization
Mm-hmm.
because Sally Richards, Lily's daughter,
Mm-hmm.
remembered that before she went to school, she was going to club with her mother,
Huh.
and that would be in 1928 or so.
Wow. Wow.
So we know it was tricking along. And I went to the Extension Service, and they said, here is a charter of organization in 1924 for the So What Club.
And that's specific here to Portals Club,
Yes.
right? Oh,
Yes.
And I was going to ask you, were they all these clubs called So What, or was that
No,
the name this group here in Portal
each
decided?
club gave its own name.
Okay.
And evidently this so stuff was kind of the thing.
Yeah.
And I understand Animus named theirs the So-So Club. So people were just
Because of the sewing, yeah.
working off that name.
Okay.
So,
So-
I talked to the lady when I first came here where Penny Johnson used to live, and Deb lives now, Johnson.
Deb Johnson, yeah.
Another lady lived in that house, and her name was Dorothy Bliss. And Dorothy Bliss had been secretary for the So What Club for a long, long time.
Huh.
And so it was her minutes that I found and put together for this.
Yeah.
And I talked to her about it. And she said, oh, I remember when it got its name. Now, I think she's talking about 1945.
Yes.
So what
Yes.
it was called before then, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, oh, how did it get its name? She said, well, the lady who was organizing, Lily Darnell, they were trying to get something together for ladies to get away from the cowboys and the kids for a while.
Right.
And just talk with ladies. 'Cause
Right.
ladies like to do that.
Right.
And so some little person said, oh, we could sew. And the organizers said, deprecatingly, although I don't think Lily was like that, so what? She did not have in mind any sewing. It was to learn
Right.
interesting things.
Right.
So that's Dorothy told me where it got its name, and this was probably in 1945.
Okay.
I think there was something before then, because Lily Darnell came out here, only her name was something else then. Her Darnell's her married name.
Yeah.
She came out to Arizona in about 1912, and she homesteaded over there about at Apache.
Oh.
And she built a little adobe house and ran a school in there.
Huh.
Lily was a organization lady. And I figured if she came in 1912, she was wheeling and dealing in those days.
Right.
So that's why I think the club is much older than whenever it got into the Extension Club. When I came into it, then that's what it was, and I got us out of it.
Yeah.
And then we began to do our own programs. And Jeannie Williams got us into doing the forums. And then somebody else got us into helping at the rest home. And so we just expanded with time in our own interests.
Let me go back because you maybe said it, Delane, but the reason you changed, you wanted to make it. You wanted to be more involved, or why did you make the change from, well, we don't want to do it the way they've sort of designed it, we want to do our own thing? What was the thinking? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I kept going to these as president. I kept going to these meetings every month. Boring, and they were about fabrics, new fabrics that have come out. Well, our ladies weren't sewing. We were kind of a split community. We had the old-time ranchers,
Yeah.
the Millers in particular, and the Richards in
Yeah.
particular. And so it was a ranching country then.
Yeah.
We didn't have the houses we have now.
Right.
Those houses mostly came in when the Three Triangle broke itself into 40-acre plots and began to sell off to people. And then there were the scientificos,
Yeah.
the people who came out and did their scientific work at the research station
Yeah.
and then decided to retire here.
Yeah.
Two different kinds of people in the same community.
Yeah.
So they were not interested in extension stuff.
Right.
So new fabrics, they didn't care. They bought theirs at the store in ready-made clothes.
Right. Yeah. Who
And
needs to sew?
so then I said to myself, I am not going to pass this on to the next president. I'm getting us out of it.
Yeah.
And we're going to make our own speakers.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did.
And so you kind of, the group of women came together and figured out these different ideas of
Yes.
what they wanted to do.
Yes.
And it seems like a lot of them, I don't know if that was the intention, have to do with helping out in the community. I mean, they're
Yes.
community, I can't think of the word I want, outreach, community help, anyway, they're based around the community.
Right.
Yeah.
And now they do the Oktoberfest to make money.
Yeah.
The groups here overlap. The same people are in each group.
Yes.
They just do a different job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyhow, that I think takes care of
So what? Okay. So
Only,
that.
I don't know how long So What's going to live.
Why
We've
do you
got
say
a
that?
whole different group of people now. Last meeting, yesterday,
Yeah.
the girl who's president, and she's up in Silver City. She just likes this area and what we do. And she comes down and is president.
Who's that? What's her name?
Beckenbach. Karen
Okay.
Beckenbach. Yesterday, she was trying to get a nominating committee, and we have a sheet and people sign up for
Right.
what job they're willing
Office.
to do.
Right.
And there are lots of jobs, like I am historian, and I am on the committee that does scholarships. We sort out the kids and the money.
Yeah.
And Jerry Hernbrod and I go to the rest home and do Easter, the Easter fun things for the
Yeah.
little old people.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 3 jobs I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
But what they can't get is a president and a secretary.
And are there, so one is getting people to volunteer. Are there younger women coming in, or are you, the folks active now? Are you worried about?
Well, how
Port-
young can you be and live at Portal?
Well, that's true.
You've got to make
Yeah.
a living.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're, yes, young compared to us, but they're
Yeah.
retired.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I meant, is there do you see sort of the, I shouldn't have used the word young, because you're right.
It's young.
Yeah, it's young and it's not. But is there the next generation, are you worried about it not
Well,
continuing?
they're just not people who want to run clubs.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I was amused when she was trying to get somebody to volunteer
Yeah.
to help get a president and a secretary. Everybody was looking at the table. Nobody wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I heard Carolyn Deering say, and Carolyn Deering is young by my standards, she said, I have done every job in this club. I've been president, secretary, treasurer, etc., etc. It's somebody else's turn to do it now.
How many people, how many women are in it, would you say, that come on a regular basis and are active?
Probably about 30,
Oh, so that's a good size number.
but more belong.
Right. Yeah, that's why I specifically said the ones that show up for meetings.
Maybe 25.
But that's a good sized group.
It is.
you know, so it's a little surprising it can't.
But they don't want to do the jobs.
Here, and then I have this other funny question, because what would happen, would they ever consider men coming, or would that change the whole, or maybe at this point it wouldn't change it? What would that?
I don't know. Bob Chew insisted that we had to take him in, but Bob Chew wanted to belong. And whenever that ruling came out that, sports.
Yes, Title IX was.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said, you can't discriminate. And so I want to come. And we said, discriminate or not, Bob, you're not coming.
So my idea or question about men coming probably wouldn't go over too good.
I don't know. They've thought about it before.
Uh-huh.
I think it would change the whole character of the thing.
Yeah.
Would it be able to do what it does? Because, men don't think like women.
No, like we were talking the other
And
day.
so it would never occur to them to go down to Cypress Inn and do something for the little old people.
Yeah.
They don't think about that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, we might go out and build something in Portal. Yeah.
But the husbands help.
Yes.
And there were men there yesterday to hear Jeannie's talk.
Yeah.
We let men come and hear the talks.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We
Yeah.
may finally bring them in, just make a whole different club.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it gets its jobs done.
Yes.
But you've got to have a president and secretary to
Yeah.
glue the thing together.
Yes.
So I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah. Well,
We'll
hopefully
just have to
it'll
see.
continue.